necessary to give present some remarks regarding some tendencies on different markets. This discussion, it was finished a few minutes ago, was extremely interesting for me because this is the confirmation that country to country we have different problems and there is no unique solution. We should remember this, and it's also very important to remember there is not any sense to copy the solutions from other countries. This would be one of the biggest mistakes, creating additional, even bigger problems. They could exist on any country. We have a lot of such experiences from different markets, and what to say, we must be clever enough to adapt what is to adapt, and to debate on some other aspects on the different markets, if something is good or not. This first slide shows you something what is from my perspective, extremely important regarding the insurance activity within European Union. Please remember the first very interesting regulations were passed by the European Parliament in '92, and recently in 2009 they were adopted by the directive regarding the insurance activity called in one word Solvency II exactly. And I would refer to some important paragraphs, articles of this directive. They should be understood exactly at the same level in all the countries. It doesn't mean that that is the Bible, but this is the main purpose of the directive, to harmonize the European market. And the main purpose of the European markets, any European regulation is to harmonize the level of the consumer protection. Doesn't matter what is written in the directives regarding the solvency, administration, quality of the management, and so on and so on. Everything finally relates to the customer protection. What is very important, that any insurance activity is subject to prior authorization, to permanent supervision, and based on a single license principle. It means if we receive the license in one country, it's valid in all other countries. This last point has very big consequences for the stability of the many insurance companies in nowadays and problems on the particular markets. I will tell you some words about it later on. This is something what probably is not according some solutions you have on the market. In our days, there was a big debate about the changes, first experience after new regulations, but please look on a chart. There is very clear written exactly in these words. So, what to add? What to add? Of course, if on any market there are some particular problems, it's necessary to find any correct solutions to solve the problems. On the other side, we must remember that even from time to time the intentions could be positive, but the results are brought by devil. It's not my task to evaluate the first experiences on your market, but referring to the discussions, the panel discussions, I have the impression not everything works properly. Before I will go further, I think it's necessary to underline again how big importance within European community has the MTPL and hull insurance. This is the main, on some markets, core business. In all countries, on all markets, this business creates certain problems, but they are different country to country. I was really surprised following this discussion how big problems refers to the material damages, repairing of the cars, to the parts of the vehicles. On the Mariusz markets, this is not a problem anymore after, very dynamic changes. They happened years ago. But this is very important to see that this important problem for you having important influence on the final results of the insurance industry. When we start from talking about money, we should start from premiums. We should start about these two different lines of business as hull insurance, casco, and MTPL. They are two different lines of business. We can't combine these lines together saying more or less it's good now because there is any balance. And when we add some additional risk as assistance, it could be even better. When we add the next one, what was popular and still popular on some markets in Poland, for example, that's personal accidents, will be even better. But in fact, it doesn't give any better chances for the insurance undertaking. In many cases, vice versa, could cause substantial problems regarding the solvency, especially when after a certain time the authorities will start intervening because they discover suddenly that it is necessary to look on the lines separately. Regarding the pricing, the tariffs, of course, we could imagine any intervention of the state, especially of the authorities. Why not? They are responsible. They need to take the responsibility for clients. But very interesting remark was presented by, for example, Polish authorities in recent past. It was more or less in these words: being responsible for the customers' rights, customers' protection, we are responsible to protect the insurance companies and secure the profits, because only if they will be profitable, they could give the security, the cover to the clients. We could imagine different measures that could be taken by the state, by the authorities. They are directly responsible. There are different lobbies on different markets. They want to win something, especially if the market is not profitable and the prices must go up, as happened recently in the last 2 years in Poland. There is enormous increase, enormous, in many cases over 100%. There was also the attempt to introduce any limitation, especially the lobby of the transport companies. They were very unhappy, and everybody knows why. Because they are the main producers of the problems. They are running from company to company, promising profitable business, very low claims ratio. But in fact, every company, almost every company on a Polish market was the victim of them. And when this changes started 2 years ago, they organized very quickly by themselves. They started to produce the letters, they started to talk to the politicians. There is small part of the whole motor business, but very powerful. And of course we had very big debate on the Polish market. Even I was very involved. And what happened? This was enormous surprise for everybody. The best advocate of the insurance industry was who? Insurance ombudsman, saying they will not able to pay more and more as the population expects, especially in bodily injury cases, if they will not have money. We should understand we need to pay for it because there are no other fundings to secure the claims payment. The next one, surprise, was the behavior of media. Except of some journals of the Transport Association, nobody attacked the insurance industry. All the main newspapers, daily newspapers, and all the responsible press, the most known, they presented to the population the basic rules of the insurance cover. And who is the final payer? From time to time, we are not doing a good marketing of our activity. I think it's necessary to speak more and very loud how much money we are spending for the claims yearly. What was paid for what? Not only waiting as a victim who will be punished, because we will be punished. The people are usually not happy. Very often we can hear we are the thieves, we are stealing the money, we are paying nothing to them. Even we spend them billions every year. This is very important to remember. Let's transport the activity. This single principle, it's in the European Union, have very important consequences for many markets in our days. As you know, it's very easy to start the operation on a basis of freedom of service, of freedom of establishment. And it's There are two different lines. The first one, there are some companies, they want only to give the service to the international clients. The other one group, they want to do the core business. And this is exactly a big problem. Maybe you remember, I promise I will not give any names, but there will be some exceptions because this relates to the past. Few years ago, not so far, we had very symptomatic bankruptcy. Kees is not present here, and he is Dutch, and this was exactly Dutch insurance company. And the name was Ineas. It was a small insurance company in Netherlands, operating only online. And they had only 10,000 policies in Netherlands, and 60,000 in Germany, almost 20,000 in France, 20,000 in Spain, and authorities were never interested about this activity because it was so small. And one day, all the activity based on the cash flow collapsed. And in many countries, we had the problems for years. There were the technical problems, how to settle the claims of hundreds of thousands of the clients. There were the problems of the clients, they lost day by day the insurance cover, so they were forced to buy another one, additional costs. And there was also a very important financial problem. Who should pay for what? The company was Dutch, but the clients were in different countries, and the victims in many, many countries. Finally, who was responsible for this problem? Another bankruptcy was a few years ago in your neighbor country, in Hungary, the company called MAF. By chance, I suppose, the authorities were never interested about the activity of this company. They accepted everything, all the papers. They never checked until there was nothing on account. And there was a lot to pay. We should remember that our responsibility is coming out from the policies are not limited only to one country. We are operating on the basis of one single policy. It's valid in many countries. Sorin, probably you can inform the colleagues how much money you need to pay. Oh, you talked about it as well. How much money you are paying for the international transborder claims? I'm not talking only about the bankruptcies you had recently, and hopefully you will not have in the nearest future, but who knows? As long as the market is not very stable, it's necessary to remember that never we could be satisfied. So, and referring to this transborder insurers, there are some extremely aggressive insurance in our days. They are very small in own countries, but they started to operate in different countries. I don't know if this is the situation on your market. This activity based on a notification only. But in many countries, we could observe some companies from small countries with rather small capital. They are selling many policies because their prices are very low. And the problems we can observe on different markets, they relate to the dumping tariffs. I understood you are doing something against, but the question is, in this matter, if you want to introduce any solutions on a country level, legal level, who is responsible for potential mistakes regarding the calculation of the administrative costs, of the referred calculation of the commission, of the recommended level of the share, all the costs. This is the main question. Would you like to change the law regularly, once a year, twice a year, once a year? This is a good question. Such hard solutions, in fact, they cause more problems than the soft regulation with very experienced supervision. This supervision is necessary. This is very specific business. Nobody wants to be supervised, but we must be clever enough to understand we need it. We need it. We can't survive without supervision. As we are sitting here, or I'm standing in this room, we should remember we have only one name and one face, and nobody wants to be treated as a potential criminalist. We must be honest, and the authorities could help us, or vice versa, what happens from time to time. So, as you see on the screen, the last point refers to this trans-border activity. What you can do in your own country when another foreign insurer started to operate on dumping level. You can be angry. You can discuss, but as long as the authorities will be silent, you can do anything, because this is exactly the responsibility of the authorities to intervene, but not directly on your own market, but via international channels to the authorities of the home country of the insurer, or via IOPA. This is this International Association of the Supervisor Authorities, and they are quite powerful. And if you see that the authorities are more involved in not so important matters, and they abandon or they are silent regarding such problems, you must push them, even using the media, what happens on different markets. It's necessary from time to time to push the authorities. When I'm saying you on your market, this is only a kind of the example, because I would say it's how to present the problem.
Are we close to the conclusions?
Yes, I will go to the conclusions. So the potential solutions are rather easy, and it's necessary to remember that we can't wait too long for any decision. If something goes wrong, it's necessary to cut the problem. It's not clever to wait and to give 50 chances to solve the problem, because finally you will lose your bonuses, the market, the reputation, and there will be no guilty except the insurance industry, because always authorities are not responsible. They are over. So this is the the conclusion, and please remember that our activity, especially the motor business, there is very good topic for the populists, different populists, political populists, but also some media, journalists, because always is possibility to win something, to present it, her or himself, and to be popular, and to promise, I will do something with this problem. But usually, everybody of us is an expert. We have the cars, we have the houses, we have the policies. But very seldom those populists can understand the basic rules of the insurance industry. And as an anecdote, I can tell you at the end that once during the debate, political debate in our parliament, the member of the parliament said suddenly, if the shareholders, if the insurance companies, they have not enough money to pay the claims, the shareholders should pay more and they will have enough money to pay the claims. So this is from time to time the understanding of the business. And I'm answering always, we are not buying and selling bananas. This is a bit different. Thank you very much for your attention.